So one of the things that I think is really funny is I never had to come out. There was never really a question in my mind. I always knew that I found men and women and people who would I kind of identify as whatever they wanted to really attractive. So there was no scary coming out moment at all. It was more that I found other people would identify whether I was straight or not based on the length of my hair. So when I had short hair, I was a dyke, and when I had long hair, I was straight, and I always was just kind of weird. But I never saw myself actually in representation. I wasn't hot and sexy like Sharon Stone and that kind of bisexual woman, and I wasn't quite butch enough because I always like to wear makeup, and I wasn't quite femme enough because I don't like to shave my armpits or my legs, and I like to say fuck. And I remember when I moved to Chicago and it was no longer the cocoon of college, and would just kind of read a variety of papers and was reading the queer paper, and I just didn't see a single thing about bisexual women. Queer had become like this synonym for lesbian, and I'm not a lesbian. I love to suck dick, and the only thing I like to do more than suck dick is to fist women, so I'm not exactly sure where I was going to go with that. And I wrote a pretty angry email to the editor of one of the large queer papers about that, being like, where the fuck am I? You know, where am I? I'm not here. She's just like, shut the fuck up and start writing a column. And I did. And somewhere along the line, I just stopped, you know, getting angry as much. And I'm really kind of sad about that because I never stopped identifying as queer. I have a wonderful boyfriend who under Canadian law is recognized as my common law spouse and supports me in that way, but for some reason the identity got swallowed and I got a little too complacent. And I'm in a new city and I'm in a new place and I'm just as queer as I've always been, and I wanted a chance to be able to actually say that being queer doesn't mean being lesbian, doesn't mean being in a box, doesn't mean any of that. It means who you are inside and the way you live and the way you choose to live and the way you choose to identify.